Today's mission involves duping exquisite Christmas decorations that are truly a sight to behold. However, the price is far too high, so we are going to get the look for less. Now, our first dupe is some giant lampposts about as tall as me, because that seems reasonable, right? Well, I needed them and I didn't want to buy them because they were so expensive. These beautiful lampposts are from the Paragold website. This snowing snowman lamppost is a stunning white lamppost. It's almost 6 feet tall and it's got an adorable snowman winter scene inside of the lantern. I thought this was so adorable, but the price is not adorable. For one of these lampposts, it is $398. I'm not going to purchase them, but we are going to make them. Now, we are going to actually make 2 of them, and we are going to put them on either side of my TV. Do you remember when we did that giant entertainment makeover? Well, I've got these 2 niches on either side of the TV. And originally I thought, I'm just gonna put some Christmas trees in there and it's gonna look fabulous. But the more I got decorating and the more I looked at these areas, I thought I needed to do something out of the ordinary and show-stopping. So what we need first of all is a container. I actually have 2 containers that we are going to use. I purchased these several years ago at HomeGoods. The detailing along the edges is fantastic. I love the color scheme of the white and the gold. During the year, they stay on the countertop in my dining room, but we are going to move them over to the family room and use them as our base for our lampposts. So now we need a post itself. I needed something that was sturdy enough that it could hold up a heavy lantern and a bunch of greenery. So I headed over to Lowe's and I found some PVC pipe. I got an 8-foot long piece of PVC piping, and this is going to be the actual post itself. I want to be able to use my containers in different projects later on, so I didn't want to make this post permanent, but it definitely needed to be held in place very sturdily. I ended up getting some great stuff. This is used for gap fillers. It's an expanding foam, so if you have a hole that needs to be filled up, this is a great solution. I purchased 2 of these cans at Lowe's as well. Now I've got my items to create my lamppost. So what I'm going to do is take that PVC pipe and saw it into 2 sections. I got a pencil and marked out the size I needed. I grabbed my gloves and my Aaliyah safety glasses. I took my jigsaw and cut the pipe into 2 45-inch segments. The opening in the bottom of the container is quite large and it actually goes all the way down to the bottom, which is fantastic for us. So what I did was I took the pipe and I put it in the center of the container and made sure the bottom of the pipe touched the bottom of the container. Then I took a can of Great Stuff and began to spray this expanding foam into the container. You want to make sure that your pipe is directly in the center. We do not want a ski wampus pipe. I sprayed an entire can of the Great Stuff into the container. Once I was finished filling up my first urn with the Great Stuff, I moved on to the second urn. I placed the PVC pipe all the way down to the bottom, took my second can of Great Stuff and sprayed it into the container. I made sure that the pipe was completely encased in the Great Stuff, and once again, I used an entire can. If you look at the container right now, it looks like it's not filled up all the way, but give it a couple of hours and it will begin to expand and grow. It grew and grew, and as it grew, it hardened as well. Once several hours had passed, this was my result. It looked like the Loch Ness Monster. It took on a life of its own and it definitely filled up that entire container. So definitely be prepared for the Great Stuff foam to expand. Now, of course, I'm not going to leave it like this, so I got a serrated knife and I simply just trimmed off the excess. I wanted the top of the foam to be even with the top of the container. All right, our PVC pipe is secure in our container. Now, the thing about the PVC pipe is that it did have some scratches and some dings and some discoloration. So what I'm going to do is paint it. First, I need to protect the urn, so I got a grocery bag. I made a hole in the top and just put it right over the top of the urn and the pipe. And then I got some Krylon spray paint. This is a white satin spray paint, and I sprayed the entire pipe. I made sure that everything was covered, especially the dings and the scratches and the discoloration. Because it's white, I just needed to do a quick top coat over the pipes so that the color on the surface of the pipe was cohesive. Once the pipes had been painted, I let them dry for an hour. We need some lanterns to go on top of our lamp post. We are going to use some lanterns that I already have. I purchased these lanterns several years ago at Hobby Lobby, and if you've been with me for a long time, you know that these used to be hanging right here, right next to either side of my giant mirror. The wall-mounted lanterns were fantastic on either side, but at the end of the day, I needed some more light in this space, and so I swapped them out for these lamps. So these lanterns have been in a closet just collecting dust for the past probably 2 years. So these are going to be very beautiful in our lamp posts. I love the size and the shape of these lanterns. There's a lot of detail on it, and I love the scroll work at the bottom. What I don't like about these lanterns is the color. It looks like cement. It's got that bumpy, rough texture, and it also has a few rust spots. It's rustic, and that is not the look that we are going for. So we are going to paint it. First, I need to remove the glass panels that are inside the lantern. Luckily, they were removable, and they needed to be washed anyways. By removing these glass panels, it saves me a lot of time and effort trying to tape those glass pieces off. Then I took my lanterns outside. I'm spraying them in the same Krylon white spray paint as I used on the pole. I made sure that the entire lantern was completely covered in the white spray paint. I painted the top and the insides and the scroll detail. There were a lot of areas that needed to be painted on these lanterns so that they would be properly coated in the spray paint. Once both of my lanterns had been painted, I let them dry for 1 hour. These lanterns already look so much better. I love this paint color, but it is a little stark, so we are going to add some gold highlights. I'm going to be using some gold leaf Rub and Buff. I took a tube of the Rub and Buff and a paper towel. I added a dab of the Rub and Buff to the paper towel, and then I wiped it on the grommets on the top of the lantern. Then I moved on to the cutout details above. I wiped this area in the gold Rub and Buff, and then I highlighted the line right above it. I added some to the top finial and the ring, and then down at the bottom, I just wanted to highlight the edges, so I added some gold Rub and Buff just to the edges. That way it wasn't completely coated in the gold, and then I added a little bit more to the bottom finial. Once my first lantern had the gold highlights on it, I moved on to the second lantern. I repeated the process on this lantern. I added the gold Rub and Buff in the exact same areas as I did on my first lantern. And since this Rub and Buff is more like a wax, it only took a few minutes to dry. When I was making the decision about what I was going to use for my pole, I specifically wanted a pipe because I needed the hole in the center, because that way the bottom of my lantern would fit into the hole of the pipe. Now it does, but I want to make sure that it's not going to topple over and that it's secure in place. So when I was putting together my Christmas tree, you know how the pole of the bottom of the Christmas tree goes into the base of your Christmas tree, and it has those little screws that you can screw it into the side to make sure that your tree doesn't wiggle and shake and fall over? Well, we're going to copy that, and we're going to do that to the top of the pipe. So what I did was I got my drill, and I drilled 3 holes equidistant from each other at the top of the PVC pipe. I'm going to need these holes for access to put in some machine screws. Then I took the lantern and poked the bottom of the lantern into the top of the PVC pipe. Then I screwed in my machine screws into the holes. The machine screws have a flat bottom, so they will not damage the bottom of the lantern. Once the machine screws were in place, it was now the moment of truth. Me and my son, Blake, took a step back, and hallelujah. The lantern stayed in place. So now we know that this is a success. We can move on and do the exact same thing with our second PVC pipe. I drilled the 3 holes in the top of the PVC pipe and then took my lantern and put it inside, then screwed the machine screws in place. You guys, this is looking so good. I'm so excited. Can you see the vision now? All right, so I'm gonna bring them back inside and I'm gonna put them in the niches on either side of my TV. These lampposts fit in these niches perfectly. I wanted them to be grand and take up the space because it is a fairly large space. As many of you know, we have had a few hurricanes come through Florida in this past month. The last one did some damage to our screened-in enclosure. We lost a few of the screens, and because a lot of people lost screens, we haven't been able to have anybody come by and fix it yet. So our pool is starting to get a little sketchy. We have more bugs than usual. We've got more leaves and dirt and debris in the pool. So I need something that's gonna help me clean my pool. I have this Surfer S1 and the Scuba S1 Pro. These are amazing cleaning items. They are packaged beautifully. They came already assembled and ready to go. All I had to do was plug these in. It only took about an hour to fully charge both of these items. Let's start off with the Surfer S1. This is a skimmer, so it's gonna clean the top of my pool. Once it was fully charged, all I needed to do was remove the plug, then close the charging port. I pressed the on button, and then I placed it in my pool. I downloaded the app so I could control this skimmer from the convenience of my phone. This skimmer is also solar powered, so you can leave it out all day. You can control the skimmer on your phone, so you can drive it around and it will scoop up any bugs or leaves that you have on the surface. Or you can have the skimmer control itself. After it had been in my pool for a few hours, I pulled it out and I removed the filter. The Surfer S1 got everything out of the pool that I did not want because nobody wants to swim with a grasshopper. Next, let's move on to the Scuba S1 Pro. This charged up very easily as well. All I needed to do was remove the power cord, close the port, and then turn it on by pressing the button for a few seconds. I took it outside and I put it in the pool and it will gently drop to the bottom. This item cleans the bottom of the pool, but it also cleans the walls of the pool. There are a variety of commands that you can give this Scuba S1. It's got 4 cleaning modes. It cleans the pool floor, the walls, and the water line. The Eco mode allows for automatic cleaning 3 times a week for 45 minutes, ensuring that pool maintenance is consistent and with minimal effort. You can monitor the cleaning history and plan routes based on past data. The motors provide power for cleaning while enhancing the product's durability. The powerful 100 GPM suction ensures that it captures even the toughest debris. That includes leaves, sand, and of course, bugs. The Scuba S1 Pro is the first pool cleaner to provide continuous horizontal water cleaning, tackling one of the most common pool maintenance challenges. It also has an infrared obstacle sensor, which prevents the robot from bumping into walls and steps, ensuring efficient cleaning. And of course, both models are designed to be energy efficient, saving time and reducing energy consumption. Again, let's remove that filter and look at all that stuff that this was able to clean up. My pool looks so much better now, so much cleaner. I'll leave a link in my description box so you can head over and check them out for yourself. Now that the structural part of our lamppost is completed, it's time to move on to the fun part, which is beautifying our lampposts. Now, if you remember the inspiration piece, there was a cute little snowman village at the top of the lantern. I like that, but we are definitely going to go for a more elegant look here in this space. Behind me, I've got my kitchen all decorated for Christmas, and the theme in there was a snowy winter village. Well, we want to carry that over into this room as well, and every snowy village has lampposts, but we want ours to be beautiful and elegant. So what I'm going to do is create some garlands. I have 2 garlands that I'm going to be using. I have a frosted garland and a pine garland, and both of these I purchased at Walmart. Now what I've done with my other garlands is I've intertwined these two garlands together. I did that on the garland in my bedroom, and I did that here on the garland in the family room area. So we're going to do that exact same thing. I'm going to take both of these garlands, I'm going to lay them out, and then I'm going to intermix them by simply taking the branches and wrapping them around each other. This way I get a good mix of frosted branches and plain green branches. Not only is this a great way to add color variation to your garland, but it is an inexpensive way to create a fuller garland. You get a big beefy garland for an affordable price. I actually ended up cutting this garland in two because we didn't need that long of a segment to wrap around our lampposts. They're not that long. So I have two of these beautiful garland pieces. We need a little bit of shimmer and shine in our garland. And what I used here in my family room garland was a strand of beautiful champagne gold sparkly leaves. I purchased this garland at Hobby Lobby. I got a whole bunch of them. They were $13.99, but they were 50% off, so they only were $7 a piece. And what I'm going to do with these sparkly leaves is I'm going to intertwine them into the pine garland. I simply intermixed these champagne leaves in with the pine branches. I did this on both of my garlands. I love the addition of the champagne leaves. It is a great color contrast, but I also love the sparkle and the shimmer and the shine that it adds to the garland. I'm going to wrap my garland around my lamppost. So I simply just took one of those pine branches and wrapped it around the lantern itself. And then I got a segment of floral wire and wrapped it around both the garland and the lantern to secure them together. And yes, I am once again going to be wearing my apron. I love my apron. I've got all kinds of little goodies I could put in the pockets, so it's definitely going to be useful helping me decorate these garlands. Once the garland had been wrapped around the lampposts, I secured the end of the garland to the foam with a floral pin. The Great Stuff foam is similar to floral foam, so I can poke things into the foam just like a floral pin. Up next, we're going to be using some wide white ribbon. I purchased this ribbon at Michael's in the wedding section. I used it on both my garland and my Christmas tree, so we're going to use it on these garlands as well. And of course, we've got to have some beautiful gold beads on our garlands. So I took a strand of these gold beads, I put it in front of the wide white ribbon, and then I attached it to the top part of the garland. Then I draped the ribbon and the beads down, took a branch from the garland, wrapped it around the ribbon and the beads to secure it in place. Then I made another loop and brought the ribbon and the beads down to the lower part of the lamppost. Then secured these items to the garland by simply wrapping a wire branch around it. On my Christmas tree, I created some bows to cover up the floral foam. We are going to make some bows again out of the same ribbon. I have this pewter and gold ribbon that I purchased at Hobby Lobby. I love the color of it, and the sparkly Christmas trees in the center are so fabulous. So I just looped this ribbon into a bow. I tied some wire around it, and then I was able to attach it to the bottom of the lantern at the top of the garland. And then I created another bow and added it down at the base. I added a few white poinsettias to the garland as well. Another recurring theme that we have in our Christmas decorations this year is pearls. I have these pearl picks, and I took a few of these pearls picks and I added them to the garland as well. Next step is some gorgeous ornaments. I have several ornaments in shades of champagne and gold. These ornaments fill up the vacant spaces on our garland, but they also tie in our color scheme. And because these are lampposts, we've got to have some light shining through our lanterns. What I'm going to use are some battery-operated flicker flame candles. These candles are on a remote, so I can easily turn them on every single night without pulling them in and out of the lantern. We are done. Look at these. I love them so much. I cannot believe how stunning they turned out. I knew creating these show-stopping lampposts was going to be a big project. It definitely was. It was a lot of hard work, but it was definitely worth all of the effort that we put into creating these lampposts. And I like these so much better than our inspiration lampposts. Mine have so much more detail on it. I love all the garlands that we added to it and the beautiful ribbons, the ornaments, the botanicals that we have. I think that our lantern is much more decorative than our inspiration lantern. The candle that we have inside of our lantern gives off the right amount of light. It's not too bright. It doesn't overwhelm the space, and it doesn't take away from both the Christmas tree and the garland. I also love the size. They're large enough that they take up the majority of the space, but they're small enough that they are still streamlined and don't overwhelm it. I'm so delighted I decided to go with a lamppost instead of a Christmas tree. The lampposts are unique, they're one of a kind, and they fit in with my overall Christmas scheme. These are a unique and fun holiday decoration that makes this room feel like it's a tucked away winter village. Now let's take a look back at our inspiration lampposts. If you remember these, they were $398 a piece. If I were to purchase 2 of them, it would be $796, which is too much for me to pay. After calculating all the costs that went into creating both of my lampposts, the grand total was $194.40. That is a great deal, you guys. And it is, however, I know that that's more expensive than I typically spend on my dupes. But if you really look at the cost breakdown, the most expensive pieces were the lantern and the base, and I already had those. I purchased those a long time ago. So if you wanted to cut down the costs on creating a lamppost for yourself, just look around your house and find items that you already have. You may already have a container that you wanted to use, and you may already have a lantern that you want to use. So you can bring down the price even further on these. But nonetheless, even still, we saved over $600 from our inspiration lampposts by duping these ourselves. I love these lampposts. They are magical. They are warm and inviting. I love the glow that they bring. It coordinates beautifully with our other decor in the room, and it also contributes to that warm, wintry village scene that I want to achieve in this space. We're going to take it down a notch, and our next dupe is not going to be near as complicated, but they are still going to be very beautiful. I have 2 chairs right here in front of my fireplace, and I have pillows in the front, and so I want to have some festive pillows that coordinate with our color scheme and our overall wintry theme. I found these pillows on the Wayfair website. I love the color scheme. It's got the pewter color in it, and this winter wreath is gorgeous. The gray ribbon is a wonderful detail. But can you believe that each one of these pillows is $204.08? No, I'm not gonna pay that. But I will take inspiration from these pillows and create some of our own. Now you guys know that I love making pillow coverings, and I have 2 places that I love the best to get affordable pillow coverings. One is IKEA, and the second is Hobby Lobby. I got 2 of these 18 by 18 inch pillow covers at Hobby Lobby. They're only $3.99 a piece, and that is such a bargain. The way that I'm going to get my wreath design is by creating a wreath on my Cricut design space and then have my Cricut maker cut it out. I weeded away the excess iron-on vinyl from around the wreath. Then I placed the vinyl in the center of my pillow cover. I took my easy press, I put it over the vinyl, which heats up the vinyl and fuses it to the pillow covering. I heated it to 330 degrees and set the timer for 30 seconds. Once my wreath had been sufficiently heated up, I removed the easy press and then peeled away the protective coating. I repeated this process on my second pillow covering. I added the vinyl to the center of the pillow covering, and then I put my Easy Press over the top, heated it up. Once it was sufficiently fused to the pillow covering, I removed the protective covering. These silver pewter wreaths look so beautiful in the center of our pillow covering, but they also look pretty plain. And this is where we're going to take some creative liberties, just like we took some creative liberties on our lampposts. We are going to personalize it and make it our own with some pearl beads. I purchased these beads at the Dollar Tree, and I simply just sewed them to the pillow covering right where those berries were. The inspiration pillow covering had a matte gray ribbon, and I wanted something a little fancier, so we're going to be using a satin gray ribbon. I tied it into a bow, and you guys, we are just going to hot glue this bow into the center of the wreath. We are not going to sew it on. I'm not going to wash these anyway because the pearls would most likely fall off. So this is going to be a decorative pillow that gets removed when people come over and sit down. So the hot glue will work just fine. I added the hot glue to the center of our wreath. Again, this is another variation that we are taking from the inspiration wreath. I like symmetry, so our bows are going in the center of our wreaths. Once I was done adding the silver satin ribbon bow to my second pillow covering right in the middle, then I filled them up with some down pillow inserts. I love using these feather inserts because they are more malleable than the cotton poly inserts. And we are done with our beautiful pillow coverings. You guys, look at how pretty these are. The silver pewter wreath is gorgeous. Those pretty little pearl accents, oh my goodness, I love those so much. They really elevate the look of this. It makes it look so much more luxurious, and it definitely fits in with all the other pearls that we have everywhere in our color scheme. And of course, the satin ribbon. Oh, I just love the sheen that it has. It just looks so luxurious. Now that our pillows are done, let's put them right next to our inspiration pillows from the Wayfair website. Do you remember that these were $204.08 a piece? If I were to buy 2 of these, it would cost me $408.16. That's a lot of money. Now I will say that those pillows come with an insert already in it, but I don't know if that justifies the price. Anyway, let's calculate the cost that went into creating 2 of my pillow coverings. After I had added up all the expenses, it came to $15.23. That is such a great deal, you guys. And these pillows on top of my chairs look so beautiful. Just like our lampposts, I like our dupe better than the inspiration piece. I think our pillow coverings are elegant, they're classy, and they are definitely one of a kind. They fit in beautifully with our color scheme and enhance the overall look of this space. I hope you can see that by duping expensive items, you can still get a look for less that is equally as beautiful, or in my opinion, more beautiful than an inspiration piece. You can definitely live beautifully, and you can do it on a budget. We've got plenty more Christmas videos coming up, so make sure you're subscribed so you can join in on all of the holiday decorating fun. I appreciate you stopping by. Thank you for watching.